Right, so good afternoon from Great Lever in sunny Bolton in Lancashire, and just a quick catch-up video really about our community fruit tree project. So the initial idea behind the project was to address food poverty and also to address ecological issues like climate change and biodiversity, with trying to bring in pollinators and other beneficial insects into the area, basically by planting a lot of fruit trees on the estate. So we began the project around 2 months ago, and after a slow start, people on the estate have really warmed to it. The initial idea was to plant 75 trees, and we've actually planted over 85, and we've run out of fruit trees, and all the budget discount stores have run out of fruit trees. We're still on the lookout for more. We want to try, if possible, to try and plant over 100 fruit trees. It's within our means to do it, and we've still got the time to do it. So it's been quite interesting, really. Some of the vibes and some of the stuff that we've picked up off people on the estate. We did ask a few people if they'd be prepared to be video, but people quite shy, really. So the first thing that we noticed, there's quite a sizable Muslim community on the estate, and we planted trees during Ramadan, and Muslim people basically said that what we were doing was a completely beautiful act and a selfless act. And this really touched me and Ben. This was said to us by about 4 or 5 different Muslim families in the area. So that was a great bit of motivation to continue what we were doing. And then other families spoke a little bit about how they were struggling to buy food because the majority of the money was going on utility bills. And these weren't families on benefits either, by the way. These were working families. So it sort of resonates with us that we've put 2 or 3 fruit trees in somebody's garden who is working, who's struggling to give the kids fruit. So from next year onwards, they're not going to struggle anymore. So it's going to bring a sense of well-being and good health to these families, and at a small cost, really. So the next stage of this project, in the next week or so, we're going to visit the same addresses and newer addresses with fruit bushes, and we're going to be planting some fruit bushes in people's gardens. Others who we know are going to be out at work, we're going to be dropping the pots off around the side of the house with a little label in the pot saying what the fruit bush is. This is also part of our long-term strategy for basically getting more perennial food onto the estate, so it's here all the time. And yeah, it's gone quite well this year so far, and we're hoping to extend this next year and the following year. It's such an easy thing to do. I mean, basically, me and Ben have walked around this estate. We've hardly used a vehicle for any of it. We've walked around the estate with wheelbarrows loaded with fruit trees and a couple of shovels, and we've knocked on doors. And it's been as simple as that. And I think, apart from 1 or 2 shocked faces, I think people quite liked our approach because like I say, we managed to plant so many fruit trees. Some other interesting things that we noticed on the estate was around 20 houses already had fruit trees, mature fruit trees in the gardens, which was a great thing to see, ranging from apples, pears, cherries, plums. 1 or 2 even had nectarines that I noticed. So that was a really good thing to see. Another interesting thing we noticed, out of around 100 houses that we knocked on, I'd say between 10 and 15 of them were already growing some type of food, usually salad crops and herbs and new potatoes, but still, all the same, these families were growing food, and this was a very encouraging thing for us to see in these uncertain economic times that we live in. So yeah, this is where we're at the moment. We're having a bit of a rest this week, and then we're out with the fruit bushes next week, and we're also going to scour around some of the local budget garden centres and budget places to see if we can pick up the last remaining fruit trees that are going to be knocking around in Bolton and the surrounding area, and then we're going to get those planted in people's gardens. So thank you to everybody on social media who's followed and supported us. Thanks again to Transition Network and the National Lottery, and thanks to, most of all, to the lovely community of Great Lever, who now have fruit trees in their gardens. And thanks for listening, and look after each other, and see you next time. Bye for now.